All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live, and for the second consecutive day of the NASCAR Cup Series is in Mexico City for this weekend's return of NASCAR to Mexico, and for this weekend's also first ever NASCAR Cup Series race in this Mexico City road course. So here today, we have qualifying for you. Yesterday, we had two practice sessions in the evening hours. Fastest in those practice sessions were actually Michael McDowell in practice number one. And then in practice number two, it was Todd Gilliland who surprised for Front Row Motorsports, getting his car to the top of the speed charts. He was also in the top 10 on the speed charts in the first round of practice yesterday as well. That first practice session was 50 minutes, cut in half for session number two, which was only 25 minutes, but just about an hour and 20 minutes or so of practice for these teams so far this weekend. Coming into what will now be qualifying. And for qualifying for the road courses this year, it is group qualifying, which we've pretty much seen across the NASCAR Cup Series on road courses over the last almost decade now. But instead of two rounds, it will just be one continuous round. And I do believe that it is only 25 or 30 minutes to post a lap, somewhere in that time frame. You only get one set of tires, so if you burn them up, locking them up in a specific corner, trying to get all you can get to put your car as close to the front of the field as possible, the likelihood of going out running a quicker lap on your second lap or whenever you go out in that time frame before the clock hits zero, then your chances are few and far between to get a good starting spot for tomorrow's race. So no qualifying order specifically. We could see all 37 cars on the track at one point in time. We'll have to see how this is going to shape up. So going to be a pretty quick stream, all things considered, because there is no practice in the build-up to qualifying. Usually we have practice and qualifying in the same stream. So a little bit quicker here today. This is our first of two live commentary streams for the day as well. We will be live for the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, roughly 2.5 hours from where we're at right now. So that is something to look forward to on the channel. And obviously tomorrow we'll be live for the NASCAR Cup Series race as well. And our coverage for that will end up beginning at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, which I do have all the start times in the community tab already posted. But just in case you wondered, you can tune in, obviously, a little earlier than that. Once we see the green flag and drivers time in for their first lap of qualifying, we'll obviously get to see how the leaderboard's going to shake up. Coming into the race weekend, my pick to win the race was going to be Shane Van Gisbergen, and he was top 10 in practice number one yesterday, but he wasn't up in that top five, top three like I expected going into the weekend. A lot of the heavy favorites for what we would usually see with next-gen Cup cars on road courses running up towards the front, competing for race wins. They didn't really show up at all yesterday in practice and qualifying, to the likes of Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, AJ Allmendinger. They were all outside the top 10 in both practice sessions, so it's a bit concerning for those three in particular. Colin Grayson was really struggling yesterday with that 16 of AJ, more so than I've seen AJ ever struggle on road course in any generation of Cup car before, and even the next gen, where he has won a race with the next gen car on a road course at the Roval a couple of years ago. I do have some stats for drivers to go off of in this qualifying stream. Usually I can highlight each driver individually, but I can't really do that here with it being group practice or group qualifying, excuse me. So you will get to hear more of the actual TV broadcast than what you usually would on this stream. But I'll try to highlight the drivers as I see them on the visual side of things. So if you're watching visually for Cup Series qualifying on Amazon Prime Video and also watching here at the same time, get a better look at exactly how those drivers may or may not perform. Green flag is being displayed. We got a couple of drivers going out on the racetrack. Alex Bowman looks like he's going to be the first to hit the track. Meanwhile, Marty Snyder standing in with the hometown hero this weekend, Daniel Suarez.
He had such a fast car. But what will happen to put you in the wall, Danny?
Yeah, Mario. I mean, I don't want to blame it on anything because I'm not 100% sure. I don't have the facts, but lap one with rain tires, I feel like something was weird with the brakes. Like something was not 100%. Well, I don't have the experience with these Xfinity cars to say, hey, this is something wrong. I kind of knew something was wrong, but I wasn't 100% sure. So probably I should have been more vocal to the guys. We had a conversation about it. We're debating if we're gonna fix it after qualifying, maybe before qualifying, maybe start in the back or not. And just the pedal for some reason was just traveling too much. But yeah, it's a shame. I feel very bad for Quaker State and for everyone in junior motorsports. But they're a top-notch team, and they're going to build another fast car.
I asked him how the cup car was. He said much better. He will be very quick here in this practice session. But it's fun, Adam, to watch Daniel Suarez walk around here in Mexico City. So many fans shouting his name everywhere he goes. He's done such an
Pretty hard crash in practice a little bit earlier on. Late morning hours, Xfinity Series had their practice sessions with qualifying back-to-back. And obviously, again, the race will be a little bit later on today. So Alex Bowman's going to be the first driver to set a lap time. I believe Austin Cindric is also on the racetrack right behind him. There was about a dozen cars that hit the racetrack for the early going minutes of this qualifying session. So 43 minutes on the clock for qualifying here today. Again, a very short stream. This thing is going to be over before the 3 o'clock hour begins. But strap in, and we're going to have it all broken down for you right here on the channel. Alternate timing and scoring line, obviously, on the racetrack is displayed as well. I believe that is in between turns 12 and 13, if I'm not mistaken. And that is to save these drivers times to go out and try to make a lap in qualifying. Last thing you want to have is an accident somewhere on the racetrack warranting a caution in the middle of your qualifying lap. Well, yes, you can go back out and redo the lap. You only get one lap on solidly fresh tires, like these drivers right now that are currently on the track have. Stu, welcome to the stream on Prime again. Yes, Amazon Prime Video for this week, and then next week will be the last week for Prime having not only practice and qualifying, but their races as well. They've had practice and qualifying for most of the year anyway. But TNT will be taking over as the next TV broadcast following the next couple of weeks. Frank Powers, welcome to the stream as well. Austin Cindric got to complete a lap. 93.674 for Cindric. Chase Briscoe to the top of the leaderboard. Just in front of him, 93.283. Briscoe has qualified on the pole 3 consecutive weeks, trying to make it 4 in a row. All on intermediate tracks the last few weeks, so if he does it again on a road course, that'd be incredible. He's tied with Kyle Larson for the most poles so far in 2025. 3 apiece there. Way wide out of the final corner there for Chase Briscoe, as Cindric was coming into pit road, so it looks like Chase is going to run another lap. 93.283, again, the lap time for Briscoe. And we saw lap times in the low 133s in that second practice session yesterday. So that lap put down by Briscoe is not the quickest lap we've seen with a Cup car so far this weekend. So I don't think that's going to be the time that will be held up, which is probably why he's running more than one lap. But by running 2 of them right now, he's probably going to be less likely to come back out again later unless he really starts to fall down that leaderboard quite a bit. Shane Van Gisbergen is also on the racetrack, and he must have had a big hiccup on his first lap. His first lap was a 97.399, 7th of 8 so far for SVG. I would imagine he's going to pick up quite a bit on his second lap, but he too also running a second. And as of right now, actually, SVG is tracking in the green by a few tenths of a second compared to Briscoe's first lap. And Briscoe's second lap is not pacing anywhere close to what his first lap was either. Looks like he's going to have a bit of a drop-off. If SVG qualifies on the pole, I'm definitely taking him to win. Yeah, one car that was about to get in his way, Carson Hocevar. Hocevar intentionally goes wide, so that way he does not interfere with the lap that the 88 is putting down. Hocevar just exited pit road, so he's trying to get heat in his tires currently. Having to dodge some cars out on the track. Noah Gragson trying to put his lap together while he's caught behind Catherine Legg in the 78, who is also trying to make a lap. Just over a 2.6 mile racetrack And you still got cars right on top of one another. Noah Gragson had damage to the left front of his race car yesterday after an incident in practice. They've gotten that car fixed, still in the primary. Gragson had a top 10 at COTA earlier this year. He finished 8th. That's the only top 10 finish for Gragson on a road course in his Cup career. So he's not necessarily a good road course racer, statistically speaking. But we shall see what he can do here this weekend and try to go back-to-back on top 10s to start the year with the road courses. Still a few more coming up through the summer months. So I mentioned SVG was tracking in the green on that second lap he ran. He did post the fastest time so far. Only 10 drivers have completed a lap in qualifying in these opening 7.5 minutes. That lap by Van Gisbergen almost a half a second quicker than Briscoe's lap, who is currently in second. A 132.776, a 92.776 is the fast lap for SVG as of right now. And he's actually running a third lap. At least it looked like he was going to, and now he's backed that off. And he'll be pulling onto pit road. So 3 laps complete for Shane Van Gisbergen in qualifying. Second was his quickest. And realizing after he couldn't put down a better lap than the second lap he ran, he's going to pull onto pit road. That's going to be a very tough time to beat. That is the fastest lap we have seen so far this weekend in the Cup Series. Ty Gibbs with a sub-93 second lap time as well will pull into P2 with a 92.998. Gibbs coming off a top 5 last week at Michigan, his best run of the season. He's never won at the Cup Series level, but he has quite a few Xfinity Series race wins on road course, including his first career race he ever ran in the Xfinity Series was a win in 2021 on a part-time basis, driving for obviously Joe Gibbs Racing in the Xfinity Series at the Daytona road course of that season. And he won several more, not only that season, but also when he got to full-time racing in 2022, or making that quick jump into the Cup Series later that year, filling in for then injured Kurt Busch. First trip for everybody to this racetrack, so drivers who have had great races with this car, in particular on road courses before, I think are going to have an even bigger advantage than what they would have probably had already. Catherine Legg is around and in the grass. Not sure what area of the racetrack that is. Might be turn 4? Yeah, turn 4. Catherine Legg going wide. We saw quite a few drivers in practice yesterday going wide in turn 4. Locking the brakes up, sliding around, just carried too much speed on entry. Couldn't get it woed up. Quite a bit of rain this weekend, but the grass luckily hasn't been tearing the splitters or any pieces of these race cars up by digging in, at least so far. Ty Gillen, who was fastest in second practice yesterday, is on the board. 7th right now out of 14. Joey Logano just clicked in a lap, puts him 4th with a 93.049. Now Gillen's second lap is quicker than his first, and Todd jumps up to 4th. Great speed out of that 34 car this weekend. Front Row Motorsports did have a top 10 last week with Zane Smith at Michigan as well. Finished 7th, I believe. Chastain also up to 2nd, right behind his Trackhouse teammate, 92.849. All 3 Trackhouse Chevys were in the top 10 in that first 50-minute practice session off the unload speed yesterday. Probably tinkered around with some things in session number 2. Chastain was still in the top 10 in session 2. SVG was not. But as you see, definitely just going off the wall essentially with major setup changes, I would assume, for the 88 as to why he couldn't back up his 50-minute time from practice 1. Fast time, I should say, from that 50-minute session compared to the 25-minute session in round 2. Ethan Chua, welcome to the stream. Hope SVG wins the poll. He's got a great shot at it. The difference between first and second is becoming less and less, and there's still about half the field that hasn't even taken the racetrack yet. 18 out of 37 cars on the entry list for this Cup race this weekend have made a lap in qualifying. Christopher Bell is currently working on his second lap. His first lap was a 15th place 134.676. Minute 34, that is, specifically there. So he's going to need a lot of improvement on the second lap. And again, Bell was outside the top 10 in practice and qualifying yesterday. Practice, I should say specifically yesterday. I was obviously outside the top 10 in qualifying right now. Bell won at COTA earlier this year, and the only road course race of the Cup schedule in 2025 so far. And he has 2 road course wins with the next gen, also winning at the Roval back in 2022. He also has a win at the Daytona road course in 2021 with the Gen 6 car. That was actually his first career win. So 3 total road course wins for Bell. Again, coming into the weekend, would have expected him to be one of the favorites, but the speed that 20 team is unloaded with so far this weekend just doesn't seem to be that great. 13th for Bell on lap 2. He only picked up 2 more positions from his first lap, so he'll pull into the pits. They'll try to make some adjustment changes and see if they can get it back out there with 33 minutes left on the clock to try to top the time he already had, because with quite a few drivers that still have to go, it's looking like Bell's probably going to end up starting deep in the field with the time he currently has on the board. William Byron just completed a lap. He is up to 9th. Cole Custer also in the top 10 with Carson Hocevar. Bubba Wallace just posted the time in the top 10. So a lot of other drivers starting to jump up there. Our current top 10 with 32 minutes left in qualifying has Shane Van Gisbergen in the lead, Ross Chastain is second, Ty Gibbs third, Todd Gilliland fourth, Joey Logano fifth, Chase Briscoe sixth, Carson Hocevar seventh, Cole Custer eighth, William Byron ninth, Bubba Wallace is currently in 10. 22 drivers out of 37 have completed a lap so far. Emogene Blevins, Kyle Riker, welcome to the stream. I hear late, appreciate the coverage. As always, thanks for tuning in. And very, very quick stream here today for qualifying because there was no practice before qualifying for today. Both practice sessions took place yesterday that we streamed live in the evening. So we're going to have more of a break period between Cup qualifying finishing and then the Xfinity Series race coming up a little later. And we'll obviously go through the full field leaderboard, not only once everybody makes a lap, but then we'll go through it again at the end of qualifying to see how things shape up. Trying to update you as the top 20 overall in the speed charts in practice. He will now be 5th with a 93.022. Only 3 drivers have ran a sub 93 second lap time so far. And also, we have currently had 6 drivers post a lap faster than that of Todd Gilliland, who had the fastest lap on track yesterday in practice number 2, which was in that mid 93.1. Kyle Larson completes a lap, and he is up to 4th. 92.984 for Larson. The time gap between Shane Van Gisbergen and his teammate Ross Chastain for first and second place is currently about 25 one-thousandths of a second. Chastain has completed 2 laps, 3 for SVG. Larson on his first lap to run a 92.984. We've seen a lot of drivers pick up a bit from lap 1 to lap 2. So him running just 1 lap right now is very strong for that to be his opening lap. Now, Joey Logano had a pretty strong opening lap, but then he pulled the pit road after the first lap, which at the time was in the top 5. Now he's currently 7th. I'm sure we'll see him again at some point. But he's not going to run 2 laps consecutively like a lot of drivers did. There's very few of them that ran 1 lap and then came in right away, especially for those that are at the top. 30 drivers have now completed a lap. The only drivers who have to make a lap yet are Michael McDowell's Dane Smith. And actually, Michael McDowell just made a lap. Let's see here. Where did he end up? He was fastest in first practice yesterday, so I think he'll have some good speed in qualifying today. I missed him. 4th. There he is. Yeah, top 5. That's not surprising. I think McDowell could compete for a win this weekend. With the speed he had in practice and his road course capability, he does have a road course win already with the next gen car at Indy in 2023. Spire's been very quick with the 77 of Hocevar, but even Michael McDowell's had some pretty good speed for most of the season as well. He's been hovering around the playoff bubble all year. A lot of good qualifying speed on the ovals for the 71. The race speed a little bit better for the 77 side. Bond1771, thanks for tuning in. Just hit the like button. Appreciate that. If you haven't hit the like button yet, be sure to do so. Our like goal will be 50 for this very short stream. We don't have a lot of time to get there, so be sure to hit the like button. Again, we are down just under a half hour left of qualifying, and that will be it for this one. Daniel Suarez jumping up into the top 10 as he completes a lap. 9th for Daniel with a 93.061. Kyle Busch also in the top 10 to 10th during the commercial break with a 93.084. We'll turn it to the Amazon Prime Video broadcast booth. Adam Alexander, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Steve Letarte for the next bit.
Like that whole, like, he ran 2.2 miles within basically a tenth of what he was trying to run. And the last quarter mile, he has one correction, and that's it.
Still fourth on the board. I know he's disappointed. Probably had a chance at getting in the top 2 there.
Larson also made a run. He's 5th. Trevor?
Yeah, talking with Michael McDowell earlier, he felt like he would be able to get a couple runs in, so that might not be the end of it for the 71. But Michael's so great on these road courses and just has a ton of ability to adapt and figure them out. He said, man, I kind of wish we had no practice yesterday when I asked him about not having all their tools with S&T and the different things that they utilize to try to figure out the gains. But I will tell you here on pit road, you're hearing a lot more feedback from crew chiefs now that those tools are working. They can tell their drivers where they're getting beat at.
Right on board with Chase Elliott. See the telemetry down in the bottom left corner. This weekend there'll be a ton of shifting, and it's the new track, so we can all learn what gear they're using at particular points of the racetrack. Car bottoming out a little bit over those curves. They got that car down on the ground, Steve. Trying to get all the downforce they can. The lower the back of that car is, the better it works. That lap right there for Chase puts him in the 11th position. A couple Penske Fords with trending green. Centric with it looks like maybe a big improvement. Currently 17. And Laney right there. Couple tenths off.
You know, that green can be a real tease until you find out exactly where they are on the racetrack, you know? And so many potential places to screw it up. I hate to say it that way, but trouble all over the place when you qualify here.
Well, with the finish line, basically after the S's, you have to get those S's perfect. That's really challenging to get the car to change directions. Not lose time, make mistakes.
16th for Blaney. Here's another Ford, Chris Buescher. 2nd last week in Michigan, one on the road last fall at Watkins Glen. Mr. Consistency and his teammates right behind him. I like this dude. You got a good road racer as a teammate, just follow him around your qualifying lap, huh?
Absolutely what you want to do. If you feel like that you're just a little bit off your teammate, or anyone really for that matter, you can follow them out on the racetrack, qualify. All the drivers, I would say 95% of the drivers in the field run better lap times with a rabbit to chase. Somebody to gauge distance, braking points. You know, it's just, you run a little bit better laps. Ross Chastain's talking about that in the media in the past 24 hours about how he likes to go out there and follow somebody, and this is working for Priest.
Yeah, I was going to say, unfortunately, he's catching him at such a rate, he might get into his rear bumper. It's not going to be the case, but it's going to be a huge lap for Priest. This is second. Wow. Ryan Priest pushes surprisingly over a second off.
And I go back to Circuit of the Americas. Priest didn't have the car he wanted. They ran it long to get points. He won a stage. But as a guy that comes in tied at the cut line with Kyle.
Oh, he goes around.
Okay, bring it to me, right? Just bring it back.
It's just back, I think, out of that area. I think he knows that's not a good place to be sitting. Why'd you go on?
Yeah.
Rejoin?
Well, luckily that happened after the lap was completed. But he did a good job, and that was smart of him to go out there and follow Buescher's got the best average finish in the next gen car since we've been racing
Yep.
on road courses.
Most top 10s, too.
Solid road course racer.
14 top 10s for Buescher and 16 road course races with the next gen car.
Yeah, I talked with Ryan Priest before this qualifying session, and I brought up how good that 17 was. His teammate on the long run yesterday, and he said, man, our cars are overlaid right over each other. You're going to try to find around it, which he did, the 17 car, and try to go lay down a lap. He felt very, very confident in his car, thought he had all the speed he needs. He said, we're going to be good today, and it's showing right now.
Briscoe back on track. First guy out earlier today, now 18th, won the last 3 poles. Talked about that earlier. Gregson on track, Buescher running again. Everybody chasing Shane Van Gisbergen at the top, 132.77.
Buescher was teasing me the set. He was right there around 0, and he had a moment which cost him about 0.4, but he does jump up to 16, so a big improvement for the driver to 17. See how Briscoe can navigate these S's.
Got a good lap going here. There's a lot of people have to match SVG up to this point. The racetrack, SVG just really did such a great job getting out of turn 4 and through the S's. It's almost like a water faucet. It's flowing, and you get to turn 4, and it just shuts off for a lot of guys. And see, there's 2 tenths. Just something. He didn't do. I mean, looked fine.
Look at sector times. SVG is just dominant through the S's. His car changes direction, which reminds me of like the Chicago Street Course V8 Supercar. I think that's where those road course guys that those real twitchy back and forth. They do a really nice job of that.
Marty?
Adam starting to feel raindrops here on pit road. Also getting reports from spotters that there are raindrops in turn 1 as well. And the interesting part of that, Steve, is that there's a lot of teams sitting here on pit road that would like to make a second run, but the crew chiefs are saying right now, let's hold off from doing that because of these raindrops.
You want to improve your time, Marty, but this place is so big, 2.4 miles. The last thing you want to do is get your driver down there in turn 1, catch a rainstorm, wreck the car, and have to go back up.
Now, they would be able to technically qualify in the rain with rain tires. The problem is that lap time's not going to be anywhere near what the slick tires would have been. So while they'll be applicable to run during the race tomorrow specifically, and even the Xfinity race later today, if rain is an issue, not going to necessarily improve the qualifying time. So fortunately enough for Shane Van Gisbergen, that could be less time for these other drivers to try to make a lap to take him down from the top spot. Currently, SVG's lap, again, a 92.824 is the fast lap. Ryan Priest just jumped up to second, as you heard there moments ago, 92.84 for him. Ross Chastain is third. Ty Gibbs fourth, and Michael McDowell rounds out our current top 5. Kyle Larson is sixth. Todd Gillen seventh. AJ Allmendinger eighth. Joey Logano ninth. Daniel Suarez, a hometown hero this weekend, rounds out the top 10. Then you got Kyle Busch at 11. Chase Elliott 12th. Josh Berry 13th, Eric Jones 14th, Riley Herbst 15th. Good qualifying run for him. Chris Buescher 16th, Justin Haley 17th, Ryan Blaney 18th, Chase Briscoe 19th, Austin Cindric currently 20th, Austin Dillon 21st, Tyler Reddick 22nd, Carson Hocevar 23rd, Zane Smith 24th, Bubba Wallace 25th, Cole Custer 26th, William Byron 27th, Ty Dillon 28th, Alex Bowman 29th, Brad Keselowski 30th, Christopher Bell, 31st. Jonathan Nemechek, 32nd. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 33rd. Cody Ward, 34th. Noah Gragson, 35th. Ryan Truex, 36th. And Catherine Legg, 37th. So that rounds out the current qualifying order. And we are just past halfway through this 45-minute qualifying run. Got a little less than 20 minutes to go yet in qualifying. Anybody could go back out there and try to make a time. Try to jump up as far as they can up the leaderboard, even if they can't get to the pole, just to improve what they had already put down. How many more races on Prime? Just this week and next week. Kenneth Rayston, thanks for tuning in. Mike keeps cutting out. Can't tell if it's on my end or yours. Is that only with the TV audio? I'll just try to make a quick change. Give me a second.
history. American Thunder, NASCAR to Le Mans. Watch now, only on Prime. Right with A.J. Allmendinger. You talk about drivers that can hustle it through the tough parts of the track. He can do it. Here he is off the 15 and going to make a run down that long front straightaway. Yeah, he struggled a little bit with his balance and happiness of the race car in practice. We'll see if they've made some changes to get him more comfortable and giving him the car they know he needs to win this race. Few jumps on that bumper camera you see, so that rain is starting to pick up a little bit. I don't think it's enough to affect the track yet. He just doesn't look comfortable. I think like he's normally so aggressive in the braking zones. Doesn't seem he can be aggressive. You got to believe DeMar will find a way to nickel and dime it and make something out of it. But this is the land of opportunity for him, and to not be further out, no doubt, is frustrating. Turn 4, and let's watch him. Tell us about the S's here, Dale. Yeah, basically everybody that's been able to get close to SVG smashed him in the most of the racetrack, except for this portion right here. This is a series of corners that are one after the other. A chain of corners, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is where the experts that run the road courses are going to prevail. Most every driver in the field can go out there and beat SVG or match him through a single corner, 9-degree, whatever it may be, doesn't matter. But when you have to go through 4 or 5 corners that are one after the other, and it's changing the direction of the car, getting the car turned and pivoted and going back the other way, that is where the road course experts are going to beat you. And that's where SVG is beating everybody today. Here's AJ's radio, team 16.
You break about a car and a half later than he does, and we're able to get to the gas center and straighten out that total S's there right after the transition.
So they're telling him that he's actually driving deeper into the corner, but obviously that's not equating to lap time. So perhaps they're trying to, coach him to back the corner up. And as a driver, you're trying to go fast. You're trying to drive deeper into the corner. So you can just tell it's just not the car that AJ's looking for. Still 8th on the board, but you would just expect them to be even higher.
Marty mentioned the rain. We've got it now. We've paused our clock, and the track is in a red condition. Everybody has made a qualifying run, so that's the good
that's
news.
good.
Everybody had a chance to get out on track, and now we build more on the story of A.J. Allmendinger down to Trevor.
Yeah, Adam, you guys are doing a great job covering it because I talked to AJ and he said, man, we're so far off. I don't know if it's me, if it's the car. I don't know if I'm overdriving it, underdriving it. We've talked a lot about the tools that these guys use. I know I have personally, but it's so important. Imagine being an NFL team and going into a game with no film of the other team. That's basically how these drivers came into qualifying. They didn't know where they were getting beat. Once AJ made that first run, they could see he's losing or gaining 5/10 actually into turn 1 in the braking zone. All of his loss was on exit. But Dale, you know how hard it is, especially at a road course. The more you're off, the harder you try to drive that thing, and then it compounds the slower you go.
Yeah, I think if I was talking to a younger driver, I would definitely give him that information and say, hey, you're just trying too hard to make time getting into the braking zone. You're hurting your ability to exit turn 3. And so you're getting the car all wadded up and unhappy into turn 1, and you can't change directions into 2 and 3, and that's hurting your time down that next straightaway. But AJ is an expert, and he knows what he needs the car to do. He knows what he needs to do to be able to get out of turn 3 perfectly. And I think they've made some gains with this car, but I would trust his feedback and continue to make those adjustments. I know that he wants to hear what SVG's doing on the racetrack, but yeah, I would think that once you get the car comfortable for AJ, he's going to go out there and be able to compete.
The only thing I'll add is we're all talking about total lap time. Tomorrow, I would love a car that can outrun somebody 5/10 of a second into turn 1, because those are positions you can, if you're good under braking, that's where you can pass. So I know he doesn't love it, but maybe it'll be a strength tomorrow.
And I've gone down this road with him before when it's not where he wants it to be, and then put the green flag in the air, and it's like, oh my goodness, here's the 16th. So he'll make something out of it, no doubt about that. Shane Van Gisbergen leading the way. Red flag for rain. 7 minutes to go in qualifying. The fans are out in full force. We're so happy to be in Mexico City. You're watching NASCAR on Prime.
17 minutes to go, not 7 minutes left here in qualifying. That is if they do get back to green flag conditions. Everybody has made a lap so far, but there is rain on the racetrack, the reason for the stoppage at the moment. And if for some reason that we are to have the track get too wet, we lose the racetrack, then that would pretty much just wash out the remainder of qualifying. With the Xfinity Series race starting at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, I don't think that we're going to be able to keep this thing necessarily paused for very long. We do have a little bit of an extra window. So this could elongate the stream just a bit. But as of right now, again, your Fast 10. Shane Van Gisbergen first, Ryan Preece second, Ross Chastain third, and Ty Gibbs fourth, Michael McDowell fifth, Kyle Larson sixth, Todd Gilliland seventh, AJ Allmendinger eighth, Joey Logano ninth, Daniel Suarez rounds out our current top 10 in qualifying. Again, about 17 minutes to go of the 45 that we had started with. Everybody has ran at least one lap. Ty Gilliland ran 5 laps to get himself up to 7th. 6 laps for Tyler Reddick. 9 for Noah Gragson. My goodness, Noah Gragson put down 9 laps. Catherine Legg also put down 9. Maybe just trying to get a little extra track time at that point. They were both pretty deep on the qualifying grid. Gregson having that damage from practice yesterday too. Maybe just trying to get a feel for how the car is post-damage repair. We'll take a quick break here and then probably get into some NASCAR Sporkle trivia while we're waiting out the rain for the meantime, since we usually do that on rain delays.
Fine here in Mexico City, with about 17 minutes left. All the drivers have had time to make a lap, so if it rains a little bit too hard, this could end qualifying. But just, it's a good point, Adam, to consider that these tires, or excuse me, these cars have wet conditions available. They have the rain flaps on the back, they have rain tires they can put on. So while I don't expect us to see rain tires in qualifying because everyone has made a lap, if this is tomorrow in the race, you throw a caution, you open pit road. As a crew chief, you have to decide if you're changing tires or not. We're going to go back racing. This would be a tough decision because it's not really wet. So you might have to just tell your driver to pedal it around there with the dry tires. Could be exciting. Let's go down and get more with Trevor.
I'm here with my good buddy, Michael McDowell. Come on, McD. 5th place, that's all you got right now.
Oh, I know. I didn't execute very well there, but really proud of the speed that we have in our, our Blaster Chevy. I was shooting for that second lap, but I lost a little bit of lateral grip on that second lap. I wish I'd have charged harder that first lap because that ended up being my best lap. But proud of the execution overnight. First practice was really good. We kind of got off a little bit at second practice, so to rebound from that, we can win from 5th for sure. And appreciate everybody at Hendrick Engine Shop. There's a lot of work to get these engines ready for this altitude, so appreciate the extra effort. And we should be in a good spot tomorrow. We'll see what the rain does, and you only get one shot at it there, so I'm glad we put in a decent lap.
Yeah, well, I saw you get out of the car, and then you were kind of looking like you were going to get back in before the rain came. Was that the plan, to go back out and try to go again?
Yeah, the plan was always to let that first wave go, make a run, hop out, look at data, and then get in, with 5 or 6 minutes to go and see if we could go quicker. Just knowing that we could put new tires on tomorrow, we don't have to worry about conserving. But then obviously the rain came down. So, I don't know if that's good or bad. Other guys could have gone faster too, and we could have not. So we'll take a top 5 starting spot and build from there.
All right, Michael McDowell with the Blaster from 5th place. Marty?
Trevor Ross Chastain is 3rd right now. And let's remind everyone about the weekend for Trackhouse Racing. All 3 Trackhouse teams worked with 4 to 5 employees yesterday, and that's it. Finally, everybody is here in Mexico, Ross. But, considering the weekend that you guys have had, and you were top 3, all 3 cars, top 10, all 3 cars in practice, and now again in qualifying, what does that say about Trackhouse?
It was good to see Phil Surgeon, my crew chief, do tires yesterday and get his hands.
It's kind of funny, actually.
It was, and we made sure to get some good pictures. But no, the mechanics and Phil that came in, they handled it well. Our truck drivers had everything kind of ready. I got it through interior safety inspection, which was just presenting my helmet and Hans the NASCAR. But no, for our Wendy's Chevy team, a heck of an effort to come down here. Obviously, a lot of pressure with Daniel, just being everything about being in Mexico for him. To have all 3 cars in the top 10, chasing Shane around the track, just within a tenth of a second is really cool for me.
and just hats off to everybody that had us prepared before we got here, so that when those issues did happen, out of all of our control, we come down to this great country to race. It's been a good 2 days so far for Trackhouse.
All right, the teamwork has paid off for Trackhouse Racing right now. First, third, and 10th here in qualifying.
And if you look at the board, 9 of the top 12, 2 of them from Trackhouse, have not won in 2025. So you go into this phase of the playoff standings.
All right, so while we're under a rain delay, the reason why I don't have the leaderboard right now, I was actually looking for a NASCAR Sporkle quiz while we're waiting out the current rain delay. It does look like it's picking up a bit at the track. I would like to think that this is probably going to end qualifying. We just haven't gotten the official word from NASCAR yet, so to bypass the time, we'll do some NASCAR Sporkle trivia as we usually do during any sort of red flag or rain delay throughout the course of live commentary streams. So, yeah, I do believe Shane Van Gisbergen will hold on to the pole based off of not only the lap time he put down, which I thought was going to be a good lap to try to hang on for the pole, but also because qualifying, in my opinion, looks like it's going to get rained out. If we do get cars back on the track again, we'll exit from this quiz, but looks like there's more and more ponchos going on some of the fans in the grandstands, which leads me to also believe that the rain is picking up just a bit. Xfinity Series racing will still be scheduled to start at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. And here's SVG for the meantime. Well, actually, I already have the quiz pulled up. I don't want to waste too much extra time. So we'll get this going. 15 minutes, and this is any driver who has scored a NASCAR Cup Series pole from 2004 through 2010, I believe. And on this list, it gives us the track and then the race name. So as we put drivers' names in here, honestly, I think I can go 100%. 266. 15 minutes, I feel like that's a lot of time. Any driver who has scored a Cup Series pole from 04 to 2010, it looks like it does count exhibition races too. So Charlotte All-Star Race and All-Star Open poles, it looks like those are also included. Same thing with the Bud Shootout at Daytona and the 500s with the, yeah, so any exhibition race as well. I think SVG's winning tomorrow, too. He's my pick. All right. You guys can play along in the chat. We'll see what we can do. Try to get 100. Redeem ourselves from yesterday. Jimmy Johnson. You got to put all the big dogs in here. Jeff Gordon. The Bush brothers. Mark Martin here. Tony Stewart. Kevin Harvick. Matt Kenseth's got quite a few polls. Carl Edwards, Denny Hamlin during that time. Casey Kane had quite a few. I know Scott Riggs is on here a few times. There we go. Burton. Labonte, maybe? Yep. Elliott, maybe? No. Bill Elliott. 03 would have been the cutoff. That's right. So 04 onward. Earnhardt definitely on here. Joey Logano, I know, is on here. I don't know about Keselowski at this time, but I'll put him anyway. Okay, he is on here. Dale Blaney ever get a pole? He did. There we go. Ryan Vickers, I know, is on here. Joe Nemechek, of course, is on here. Front row Joe. Sterling Marlin, 04 onward? No. Jamie McMurray definitely is. Montoya on a road course is. I think he won Sonoma from the pole. The Rocket Man Ryan Newman's on here a ton, of course. Just Ryan Newman having over 50. We're already to 220 of 266. Killing it. Greg Biffle. Regan Smith on here at all? No. Okay. Thought there was a chance. Scott's... No way Scott Speed's on here. Patrick Carpentier had a pole at New Hampshire, I think it was. I can't believe I remember that. Oh, geez. Hornish is not on here. Okay. JJ Yaley is. Stremme is not. What about Reed Sorensen? Sorensen's on here. Casey Mears, he's on here. All-Star Open of 2004. Oh, gosh. And qualifying, by the way, has been rained out. We'll go through the starting lineup as soon as we finish this quiz, and then we'll end the stream. But we haven't missed anything. Qualifying has now been rained out. Just to update you guys. Marcus Ambrose is not on the list. Not yet. I do have Case Kane already. I got the Labanis, McMurray. Haven't missed anybody, I don't think, that the chat has mentioned. See, this is like before Larson and those guys. 2010. Got quite a few of them, really. I've got Biffle. David Reagan? Ooh. Trevor Bain, probably not. No, that was a little bit after him. No, I already guessed him already. Marcus Shepard? Probably not. No. No, not at this time. Oh, yeah, Elliott Sadler's definitely on here. Jarrett. Rudd. There we go. Caught fire. We're at 244 of 266. Gilliland. David Gilliland's definitely on here. He was on the pole. Yeah, the 500. That's right. 2007. 2009 pole sitter for the Daytona 500. Clint Boyer? Boyer's on the list. Truex is probably on the list somewhere. There we go. Truex was a pole sitter for the 500 in 09. Bunch shootout. See, that's tough because that was a random draw. So, but it would have had to have been a pole sitter from the year before that was also on there. 08 Coke 6, Coke 0 400. Steve Park? No. Johnny Benson might be on here. Nope. Yeah, he's not going to be on here. Try him anyway. If I could spell. There we go. No, yeah, he's not on here. Ricky Craven on here at all? No. He's not on here either. Almirola on here? No. It was like maybe in the 01 car he might have had a pole somewhere, but that wasn't the case. Nah, not Rick Mast. 2004 to 2010 are the years. Almendinger, thank you, chat. AJ's definitely on here. 252 of 266. Mayfield has to be on here. Yep. He was a Bud shootout in 04. Okay. No, Casey Atwood already came and went. Jason Leffler, maybe? Oh, man. No, he had that time with Gibbs. The 11. That All-Star Race pole sitter in 2004. Who would that have been? Rusty Wallace? Oh, let's go. 256 of 266. We got 10 to go. Bud Shootout 2006. Gosh, Denny Hamlin won the race, but it wasn't him. I can't think of who would have had the pole for a race where nobody actually qualified. Like, there was no qualifying. Same for 2009. Jimmy Spencer on here at all? Probably not, yeah. Missing 10. Homestead 2008. Gosh, I don't know. Forrest said. There we go. Thank you for that. He had 1 pole. Now Ernie Irvin wouldn't have been on here. Thinking too long before that. 2004. Yeah, 2004 to 2010 are the years we're dealing with here. I did put Harvick already, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I got Harvick. Is there anybody else at Childress that I'm missing from that time? Mike Skinner? No, that was a little bit earlier than that. I don't know why I put Skinner. I got Burton, Boyer. Even got Dave Blaney on here already. Michael Waltrip. Ah. Yeah, there we go. Pocono, he had a pole also. Okay, so Waltrip just got us 3 more. He had 3 poles in that stretch. McDowell? No, Ruderman? I know he's got to be on here. Let's go. Yeah, didn't do the MWR guys. Well, not the 00, the Aaron's Dream Machine guys. 262 of 266. I tried Scott Riggs already. He's already on here. Is any other Evernham drivers? I thought of Casey Kane and Jeremy Mayfield. So I tried Bill Elliott, but he was out of there in 03, so he wasn't on the list. Quiz is 2004 to 2010 pole sitters and the NASCAR Cup Series. Derek Cope, I only tried that for the Bud Shootout of 2006. Because I thought that maybe he could have been in the race for some reason as a former Daytona 500 champion. And then he randomly drew number 1. Kenny Schrader on here? Oh, let's go. That was, okay, Kenny Schrader. Man, we only need 3 more. We've got the 2009 Bud Shootout, the 2008 Coke 600, or sorry, not Coke 600, the Coke 0400 Daytona. What other one are we missing? We have 4 minutes. What other one are we missing? Don't Google it. Talladega in 08. It could be the same driver. Dega in 08. That would have been the fall race, so not the Aaron's 499. Fall Dega 08. Gosh, who had qualifying speed in the car of tomorrow on super speedways? Because I remember David Gillen doing it a few times, and we already have him. We already tried Sadler. He would have came and went. Who else drove for Robert Yates Racing around that time? Jarrett was gone. Rudd was already gone, I think. We already tried those 2. Craven's not on here. I do have Casey Mears. Maybe I've got all of the... Man. Blood Shootout 09 could... I mean, it could be the same driver that we need. Kyle Petty? Oh, dang it. Yeah, Kyle Busch won the 08 pole sitter. You Googled it? Oh, no. Yeah, don't help me then. Do you think I'll get it? I've got Kenseth already. We got just over 2 minutes. I appreciate your honesty, Kyle Riker. Oh, man. Burton's not on here. Jeff Burton was. If Ward Burton would have been on the list. Scott Wimmer. No! Dang it. I felt good about that. Oh. Who else? Tony Raines. Jeff Green. No! I'm trying. I'm trying the guys that we haven't named yet. Dang it. It's not Keselowski, I don't think, because we already tried him. And we already had him on the list. Oh, man. Paul Menard? Oh, my gosh. Well, there's the Daytonas. Paul Menard. One more. Talladega, 2000, what was it, 2008? We got 1 minute. So I was missing Menard from Childress. When I said that I think I got all the Childress guys, I did not. 2008 Talladega. That's right. Childress did have very fast cars at the super speedways in the car tomorrow. They won quite a few of them. Because then Ganassi was pretty good there too, but I think I got all the Ganassi guys. It's not Steve Park. 2008 fall. Dario Franchitti ever? I don't know if I spelled that right. He's probably not on here. If it's him and I spelled it wrong, then we'll say we got it. But I don't think it is. I tried Regan Smith already, and he wasn't on here. Unfortunately. Oh, the time is dwindling here. I already got Scott Riggs. I don't know who it is. We're one off. It says I got 100% anyway, but I did not. 99, over 99.5% there. Travis Quapple. Oh my gosh, that's right. I do remember that now. Oh. No. It was a 77? Was he at Penske at that time? No, that was after Penske. I don't think he was in the... Actually, you know what? He was front row, I think. Or not front row. Was it Front Row Motorsports at that time? Or Robert Yates Racing, one of the two? So I was on the right track when I was thinking of that, but I honestly forgot about Quapple racing for him. Dang it. Travis Quapple. One off. You know, maybe in 10 more minutes I could have circled around to it. Dang, I'm upset that we were that close to a perfect score. We've gotten perfect on here twice so far this season, but that was tough. Yates, yeah, it was Yates. Oh my gosh, I was even thinking about that too. I'm like, well, Yates was quick at that time. I didn't think of Travis Quapple. Never Google again. Google at least give you the right answer. All right, we got some people wondering where qualifying went. The reason why we did this is because the back portion of qualifying got rained out. They had about 17 minutes left. So to fill up the rest of the time until the 3 o'clock hour, we were doing some NASCAR trivia. We'll go back through the starting lineup for tomorrow's race again here, as we already went through it before, but we'll go through it again as we're about to end the stream. And Prime Video is now off the air as well. Shane Van Gisbergen on the pole for the first time this season in a points-paying race. Obviously had the All-Star Open pole as well this year, but road course, I think he is the favorite. He's my pick for the win tomorrow. So taking SVG for the win. I felt good about him coming into the weekend. He was quick in practice yesterday, but not quickest. But he was quickest today in qualifying, which is going to be huge for him. Ryan Preece starts second. Front row starting spot for Ryan Preece. He was trailing behind Chris Buescher in qualifying on his lap. Only one lap, and then the second lap he spun out, coming out of the stadium section of the racetrack. So Preece, one and done. Good enough for second. Ross Chastain will start inside of row number 2, and Ty Gibbs on the outside of that row. Behind them in row 3 will be Michael McDowell, who was fastest in first practice, yesterday, and Kyle Larson, who is a 6-time road course winner in the Cup Series, twice with the next gen car. Todd Gillen, AJ Allmendinger will be in row number 4, and row 5 rounding out the top 10, Joey Logano and Daniel Suarez. Row number 6, Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott, who both had top 5s at COTA this year. Josh Berry and Eric Jones in row 7. Riley Herbst with a good qualifying effort inside of row 8. Chris Buescher, who should be quick tomorrow. He's got the most top 10s on road courses with the next gen car, 14 and 16 races, and he starts in 16th tomorrow. Row number 9, Justin Haley, Ryan Blaney, and then row 10, Chase Briscoe and Austin Cindric. So the streak of 3 pulls in a row for Briscoe will end at 3. Austin Dillon, Tyler Reddick in row number 11. Reddick has struggled this weekend with speed and struggled in qualifying today. Very surprising. So I'm curious to see how he does in the race tomorrow, starting deep in the field. Carson Osavar, Zane Smith in row 12. Row 13 for Bubba Wallace, Cole Custer. William Byron surprisingly qualifies deep in the field as well today. He was pretty good in practice yesterday, so I don't know what happened on his qualifying laps. He ran 4 of them, but 27th was all he could muster. Ty Dillon will start on the outside of row 14 alongside Byron. In row 15, another Hendrick Chevy, Alex Bowman, and then Brad Keselowski, who has not finished in the top 10 in road course in 14 consecutive tries. We'll see if we can get it done tomorrow. Christopher Bell, another driver you would expect to compete very well. Just like Reddick this week, he's just been off on speed. Toyota's been really struggling for the most part on the speed charts for practice and now in qualifying. So Bell will start on the inside of row 16. John Nemechek on the outside of him. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Cody Ware making up row 17. Row 18, Noah Gragson and Ryan Truex filling in for Denny Hamlin this week. And then Catherine Legg will round out her 37-car field tomorrow alone in row 19. So that is the starting lineup for tomorrow's Viva Mexico 250. And we'll be live for the NASCAR Xfinity Series race in about an hour and a half from now. As far as this stream goes, that will wrap it up. And appreciate everybody watching. If I didn't give you shout-outs throughout the course of the stream or playing along in the NASCAR Sporkle Trivia, I appreciate you tuning in for that as well as the actual live commentary portion of the stream, which was obviously qualifying for today. But again, we'll be live in about an hour and a half for the Xfinity race, and we'll be live tomorrow for the Cup race as well. Our Cup start time tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Beginning with the pre-race, we'll do more NASCAR trivia in the pre-race, and then I'll go into my pre-race predictions for who I think will run well, not run well in tomorrow's race, leading into the race itself. So, hope to see you then. Thanks for watching.